I think a lot of marketers find themselves in that spot, even with their SEO efforts, other efforts. It's like you're focused really intently on the quarterly results versus the long term. What would you do to get out of that cycle? I do also think sometimes we're focused on the short term because we've got some mandates coming down from above.
100%. 100%. What you're talking about is a core problem in SEO and a lot of other marketing channels. And so here are a couple of things that have worked for me when, working at companies like Shopify, G2 and Atlassian in the past. So number one is you need to paint speaking of the piece of the pie, you need to paint a picture of the whole pie, right? You need to help executives and everybody else on the company understand how big the opportunity actually is that we're talking about here. And this is already one of the biggest mistakes that I see SEOs make is they get lost in these tactical conversations and recommendations while completely forgetting to help people understand, where does the road go? What's the destination here? What is the opportunity size that we've been talking about? Because I would argue that lots of executives are more than happy to invest in a huge opportunity, but they're not made aware of it and they often don't see it. So that's number one. Number two is, of course, you need to have a very strong strategy and a really good plan. And that involves priorities and making an assumption of what the impact of the things you're doing probably is. Now, the reality is that in SEO, where you have a very slow feedback loop, right, a long lead time until you see results, that it's a bit trickier because you make educated guesses. However, most executives don't look for a promise. They just want to know and they want to see that there is an underlying logic that is robust, that there are arguments that make sense, and that there's data that supports the arguments. So a lot of the challenges that we see, a lot of the quarterly results-driven focus can be mitigated by showing people that there is a long-term plan, there is a big long-term opportunity, and how to go to town. And that's what I've seen works really well, even in large companies that move relatively slow.